Hey guys, just doing a quick update. Kid's 70 Duster motor that belongs in the car is in it finally. Got the headers back from the coder, so we could actually put the motor in for good. I'm just gonna run you by a couple things. Radiator's all in there. Ran down to the store and got some hoses, but they ain't gonna be in for a couple days. So just to see, I do run a belt for the water pump and everything, twin fan. This here is this windshield wash overflow, or I mean windshield wash jug. So it's just it's a normal overflow we cut up. I cut a big hole in it, put this cap on. So, you know, it's got a big hole that goes in so you can fill it. And then if you can see down there, I took the windshield washer jug pump off and stuck it on the bottom. So, and it works, it seals up nice. So you just wanted something that looks better than that crappy plastic jug that, you know, Mopar puts in these cars. And then on the complete opposite side is the exact same overflow, but it's gonna actually get used as an overflow. So it's kind of symmetrical, you know. Yes, it's got a regular intake on it at the moment. It's easier to lift the motor in and out with that than a chain. He still hasn't decided if he's gonna use these valve covers. I just have them on there to cover everything up. Back to the TTI headers. Couple things. They do fit good. Just show you a little bit. Clearance is decent next to the header. You know, the header to the power or the manual steering gear, there's I'd say 1/8 of an inch or so there. Fits good up against the torsion bars down there. I had to clearance them a little bit on them big torsion bars. The worst thing about this whole deal is this has got that aftermarket aluminum Lakewood bell housing that fits a 10.5 and 11.5 inch clutch. So I had to modify the side a little bit, you know, where the starter goes for when they put the, you know, that they use for the 11 inch, because you got to move the starter out. It's got extra bolt holes. Well, it had to lose them bolt holes, you know, to fit in here right. There's a few modifications you have to do to it. I mean, I should have put it on video, but I didn't. Somebody wants to know if they're going to do a build like this on an A-body. Just understand that if you're going to use that Lakewood aluminum bell housing, and that's the one that you can, you know, bolt up the Ford tranny to. You know, it's got the extra holes for that. Anyways, it's a little interesting. This is the first one I did with not using a stock bell housing. Hardest part with these CTI headers, passenger side slips right in. I mean, you do have to take the torsion bar out, and it'll slide right up in there, no problem. I'll go to that side and show you real quick. And there's a lot of room down there. You know, fits in there nice. You know, I mean, doesn't hit anything. Everything fits good, but the torsion bar is in the way, and so is the idler arm. So take them two out, slides right up there, no problem. Driver's side on your hand, you have to put it in there before you put the motor in. Can you get it in there with the motor in place? Yes, I did it on the blue car. You have to take the steering shaft off, and you have to tip the motor up about 1 inch on this side, and then it'll slip up in there, and obviously the torsion bar's got to be out. So easier, just put the header in first, and then set your motor in and put the passenger one in after the motor's in. Torsion bars obviously don't have to be out then on the driver's side to put the header in, but you will have to pull the torsion bar on the passenger side. Now, can you put them both in and set the motor in? Yeah. I just didn't want to do it because it's more of a hassle of scratching up the new coating on it. So I just figured that was an easier way to do it. And we already had the torsion bars pulled back anyways. So, bad thing with doing one with a 4-speed, that Z-bar down there. That thing right there is the biggest pain in the butt there is doing these. Yes, it all fits, It's all in there and it all works, and it works the way it's supposed to and everything, but literally put the header in, put the motor in, bolt the header to the motor loosely. Then you got to put your bell housing on, and then you can you can slide it in, you know, the ball into the Z-bar, and that's kind of how you got to put it together. I mean, there's a lot of sticking your hand up in there and wiggling around to try to get, you know, bolts in and this and that, but I mean, obviously it's doable, and it does fit without hitting. There's a few little spots you got to modify here and there. That modified Z-bar doesn't like this bell housing, so there's a couple little spots that had to be ground down, clearanced. Also, that Z-bar, you know, and I'm talking about the modified Z-bar from TTI for these headers. You have to modify that Z-bar just a little bit, otherwise it hits the starter. Now, we're just using a regular mini starter. Now, I know there is other starters out there that are way more expensive that you can rotate where it hits, and I don't know if I can show you here, but right there's some black right on the starter. Yeah, ain't the greatest thing here. Anyways, if you can see down there, I just had to modify it. It barely clears now, but it's perfect because the pedal's all the way up, and that's all the way as far back as it's going to go anyways. The clutch is all adjusted. It works perfect, works nice, you know, so I don't see having to do more. It was really hard just to get in there and get that. You know, I wish I'd have had the Z-bar when we mocked everything up, because I'd have had it clearanced even more. So if this ever comes back apart, obviously I'm gonna modify that a little, you know, take a little bit more off of it. But besides that, I mean, that was, you know, a couple hours of extra work that I wasn't looking forward to. But other thing, kid got a MSD distributor, so we're gonna get rid of the stock curved one and put a MSD billet in here. It's just up getting curved at the moment and checked because it was used. I got plug wires. I got a lot of stuff on its way, so it's, you know, it's a hurry up and wait thing, you know, what the way shipping is. So I'm gonna slide under the car and show you a few things under there. See if we can see some of the modifications I had to do. So all right. So anyways, that's how tight it all is. But the starter, if you can see up in there, that's how tight it fits up to that starter. So you got to modify it a little bit right there, or bend that Z-bar toward the header. Well, obviously it's already in the car, so I can't do that now, but if I'd have seen it before we did this, I would have just bent it, you know, toward the header that way. And it wouldn't have took much, you know, a little bit of heat and bend her over a little bit. But it all works, nothing touches. The clearance is nice. And this is the aluminum bell housing. It's like I said, it's the Lakewood one that jigs and basically everybody sells. So, but as you can see, the headers fit good. You know, the oil pan clearance, you know, nice, so everything fits. I don't know what else to show you here, but it's hard to, you know, roll under here on my back to show you, but well, I mean, everything clearance there, nice, you know, up next. I didn't have to ding these headers up at all, except a little bit on the driver's side because we put the big torsion bars in. So they were just touching, and since this is a streetcar, I didn't want them rattling against the torsion bar. Just to mention, I was telling everybody on one of my videos about clearancing for the oil pan. Okay, so that lip that's on the back side of this K-member. Now, you can put these big blocks in without clearancing that. The reasoning behind it, and you can see how much room's here. I mean, there's, you know, 1.5 inches at least. The reasoning behind it isn't the motor living there. It's getting the motor in and out with that lip on there. If you leave the lip on there, you scratch the hell out of your oil pan every time you go in and out. And it's just not that much work to cut it out and weld it up. Now, if you use the big Milodon pans that are square, where it hits is it hits in the corners right here and right here. And then the only other thing that it helps with is if you're using a external oiling system, because the hose comes out the side of the pan and comes this way, and then you got them sharp edges right here. So that's more the ideal of doing it. You're not doing it to strengthen anything, especially with these cars we're using motor plates on, because the K-member ain't doing anything anymore because the motor ain't bolted to it. So it's more for, you know, putting the motor in, taking it out so you ain't scratching everything up. And you do strengthen it up when you weld it, and it looks better. So, I mean, just kind of use it for what you want. If you don't want to do it, don't. I mean, the motor will go in there with that lip on there, depending on the oil pan you have. So, just wanted to clarify that. And otherwise, I think we're that's about as far as we've got right now. This weekend, we're going to finish up a lot on it. It'll have the tonal ram back on it and all that stuff. We're going to do the wires, and, you know, it'll look a little more done. Obviously, we got a lot left on it. The whole car needs to be wired yet. Back half the car is wired. Under the dash isn't wired yet. As you can see, there's a big hole there. It's still in the firewall where the wiring harness comes through. So just a little at a time. Just, you know, when I live up here in the north, so, you know, I do a lot of plowing when it snows. So you just got to find time to do stuff. So, but I'll keep you updated as we go. Like I said, this one's, you know, just kind of show you where we've gotten so far. So if you don't mind hitting the subscribe button, I'd appreciate it. Any comments, let me know, and I'll answer them if I see them. Thanks. Bye.